try to use this, and I should have ironed this down a little better, but I'm gonna try to use this on the, and I might even put some heat bond on the back, but I'm gonna use this as the trace, and then I'm gonna cut these out. All right, I'm gonna cut these out, and then stick them onto the jacket, and then try to, nail that thing down. Okay, y'all, so the ones that you see, I done cut them, I put also some heat bond on the back of them, because, just to make sure this thing stays on. That could be overkill, but I did put heat bond where y'all can't see it, and I sprayed some adhesive here just to lay these things down. Trying to do this with one hand, and then hopefully we can trace over this thing. I did, and we do a tack down stitch here, and everything comes out smooth. All right, hopefully y'all will. All right, just trying to get it tacked down. And the only issue now is we making sure that we have the satin stitch fat enough. Because initially I was doing it and the satin stitch was way too fat. I had to whip it like 300, 325, something like that. But now you're just gonna see if that was, well, he's still kind of fat. He's still kind of fat, but I put him down at 225. So hopefully it's still kind of clean. We're going into the satin stitch now. And it should have a good rise on it because of all the stitching that's going on here. And hopefully it covers all of this up. Covers this here up. And yeah, that's pretty good. But he still, see how slow the machine ended up turning? But that's at 200, y'all. I had him at 3. And it was going super slow, but yeah, that definitely gonna cover everything up, and that should turn out nice, okay? Applique may seem simple, but it is a very tough project, but man, these first two came out pretty good. You're looking pretty good here. It's not a lot of stress, but again, I still have to press down on this thing. So to try to limit some of that stress on these letters and seal it down, so the seal will kind of hold some of the stress rather than the stitches. So this should be one of those, these stitches lasting forever as long as they don't, be pulling them up or anything like that. And this was width on the hatch. This was 225 on the satin stitch width. All right, 225 on the satin stitch width. And I think for me, it was just a little better me cutting the letters out, doing the stitch instead of cutting the letters out here, and fighting with the machine. It's better to cut, do your tray stitch, take it off, do it on just the fabric, take it off, or whatever you're using for applique, take that off, cut it out, and then, but it depends on how big how many letters, how detailed the design is. Like for this, these are giant letters. Man, it don't take no time to cut these things. It take more time to sit up here and try to cut it out on this machine and, try to then mess around and move something and all that. Or you got to take it off and risk putting it back up there. It's a good chance you're going to get it back in the spot. But, when you have high price items like this, man, you don't really want to take that risk all the time like that. So for me, it was a little easier, me just using the process that I did just then. And you just got to put your head, man, and just see how you're going to do these particular jobs. Because everybody kind of does it a little different. You're going to watch these videos and everybody going to do it different. Somebody going to do it different than I'm doing it. Somebody going to hit the comment and say, man, nah, you ain't got to do it that way. You should have did it this way. But this is cotton fabric, y'all. Because I had a hard time finding the tweed on that. But this is cotton fabric. I doubled up on the fabric. When I did the trace stitch, I doubled up on the fabric. And then I cut those things out. And then a triple run trace. And that's why you need to know. You should be able to trace these in your software. All right, no matter what software you have, you should be able to know how to trace this letter to do your tracing. And you really should be able to design this yourself. You know what I'm saying? And so let's work as a community. If y'all don't digitize it, let's at least work to that part. Now, I've seen a little bumping going on. You know, might have missed a few stitches because of thickness. I'm going to go back over those things. Well, that ain't even far back enough. Just to make sure we got a thick consistency. I can hear it when it miss stitches. I don't even have to see it. I can hear the machine. But yeah, man, it looks like it's gonna come out pretty good. We'll see the final result. So, you know, this is 1,200 stitches, but it's slow. The machine slow. Let me get some. But the machine is gonna slow down. You know, the machine gonna slow down to do that satin stitch. Even if I sped it up, you know, it's still gonna slow down to a certain point to get these satin stitches in. So you got to take account for that. Yeah, it's only 13,000 stitches, but this machine has to slow down to do these satin stitches. Even if you sped it up, it's still gonna probably, even if you put it at 1,000, still probably gonna be at 600. So you got to think about that too when you price it. The time this thing is gonna be on here, because it's running half the speed you thought it was gonna run. All right, y'all. So, you know, we finished that thing. It came out pretty nice. I don't know how much function, we had with the pocket. We didn't hit the pocket. Okay, we didn't hit the pocket. Somebody else did these. I got to do the back for them. I've already put a name up here, but I got to do a full back on this particular jacket. But the zigzag, they zigzagged this. They used the twill. They zigzagged it, bound. And then, you know, did it, traced it, set this on top, boom, hit it, did a zigzag, bomb also. This still is time consuming, you know what I'm saying? You got to be here watching it. All right, applique, you got to watch applique. You can't walk away from applique. But with the zigzag, and I don't like doing it, but I understand why you do it for time reasons. If you hit one of these stitches, that zigzag will eventually start coming out, man. If one of these stitches come out, it can start bringing out these other stitches. And these things, you know, it could just be sewed back down, but it can bring out these other stitches on this thing. So you got to be mindful of that also. And I think this really could be done with a sewing machine, to be honest. If you had something to do the trace with, maybe even vinyl. You sitting vinyl down and using vinyl for your trace, and then sitting the twill on top, and sitting twill on top of the vinyl. And you could do it like that, even if you ain't got no sewing machine. If you really think about what I'm saying, you can use your instead of you using trace stitch, you can use vinyl. Different cuts of vinyl. All right, you have a cut for this outline, you have a cut for this outline. You sit them down on each other, and then sit these on, and then tack it down with your sewing machine. Or you tack it down with the heat bond first, and then tack it down with your sewing machine. That could be done, but it's gonna take a lot, you know what I'm saying? But it could be done. Okay, but I don't think it lasts as long. All right, and then you got that, which looks pretty good, man. It looks pretty good. I was worried about trying to find this color, and I was worried about getting in this pocket. Now, now I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, I should have went with a darker satin, but this is a little darker than their usual colors. You can see, I don't know if you can see how dark, you know, that jacket is. So these things vary, but the stitching came out great. But I am gonna have to get some more goals. I've been having problems with, you know, finding good thread for those goals. Having problems with this. I got a video I just haven't edited yet about these different threads. I'm gonna show you how many different kind of goals I have that look the same color but they're not. But all in all, this is about as good as it gets, man, to be 100. And now I haven't even pressed it yet, but I'm gonna press it and release some of this stress off of this thing.